Hobo with a Shotgun was based on a fake trailer made by director Jason Eisner. This movie takes inspiration from 70s exploitative films, which focus on shock value and aim to be as controversial as possible. We get a warm introduction with our protagonist known as Hobo, riding a train. An uplifting composition from The Mark of the Devil is played. The scene seems hopeful, a hobo moving onto greener pastures, but this couldn't be further from the truth. This movie is ridiculously fun to watch blindly, so if you're the type of person who likes to walk into movies blindly, this is the one for you. Spoilers ahead. The hobo lands in a town ruled by a vicious and cruel kingpin named the Drake.
So take a look what
No, not him.
The Drake!
Now, what if I told you in the first 10 minutes of this film, the Drake and his two DeLorean driving sons behead Ricky from Trailer Park Boys, and a woman begins to dance over his decapitated corpse? This is the first 10 minutes! After witnessing the Drake's brutality and constantly being abused by the cretins of this despicable town, the hobo decides he wants to buy a lawnmower, start his own mowing business. Being met with bitter hatred when trying to beg, he realizes he's got to do something different if he's going to afford that lawnmower. He's got to play by the rules of this nightmare of a town, making money by torturing himself for the entertainment of a depraved cameraman. When he finally gets paid, he heads to a pawn shop to buy the mower. Well, the only issue with that is that it gets holed up by three lunatics holding a mother and child at gunpoint. Well, unfortunately for these three upstanding gentlemen, it was the last straw for the hobo. He's had enough. He takes the shotgun off the rack and kills them without remorse. He even pays for the gun before leaving for the rampage he's about to go on.
Hey, guns! Keep the change. Oh, fuck.
He targets every kind of criminal. Street thugs, child molesters, pimps, you name it. He dispenses justice one shell at a time. The hobo being the only arbiter of justice this town has, he naturally wages war against the Drake and the sickening environment he's created. The movie is never boring, not even for a second. You're able to empathize with the hobo early on, and Rutger Hauer delivers one of his best performances. Rutger is known for his roles in Blade Runner, The Hitcher, Blind Fury. Just to name a few, this guy's got a lot of movies under his belt, I'm gonna be honest. The acting from the rest of the cast is a bit silly and over the top, but...
And who the fuck are you?
Put the knife away, kid. Or I'll use it to cut welfare checks from your rotten skin.
Well, you better cut one to Mother Teresa, so you can give it to her while she's finger-banging you in her!
That's part of the charm of this movie, since it's trying to be reminiscent of those 70s exploitative films. The cinematography is, I describe it as very like grimy and disgusting and very just chaotic. The color palette is as if you took like a picture and you wanted to edit it, and then you take the saturation setting and just put it on 1000. Like yellow and red seem to come out of this movie very prominently. Handheld camera shots further add to the overall tension and keep you immersed. Slow close-up shots give us a little breathing room in between scenes and gives the audience a moment to think. The gore in this movie is very exaggerated, which adds to the novelty and goofiness of it all. Heads seem to explode like melons, and blood looks like maraschino cherry juice. The soundtrack has two standout tracks, Hunter by Power Glove, and El Alpagur. I think that's how you pronounce it, not sure. I don't think there's anything wrong with this movie, in my opinion. It really doesn't miss a beat. There's constant tension. It manages to keep you guessing about what's going to happen next and almost seems to shatter the previous expectations you had when you first started the movie. I want you to really think about what I just told you about this movie and how insane that is. A homeless guy just comes in, has no attachment to the town whatsoever, wants to actually do good, and at every avenue he's spit on, he's kicked and abused, and he's forced to go down this route where he has to take a shotgun and really get his point across. And it's insane just trying to imagine that in a real life circumstance. Just a homeless guy going around killing all these thugs. Now just combine that with the absurd nature of all these people. You know, they're saying all these crazy ass things, finger banging Mother Teresa in hell. There's even a line, I kid you not, where a cop says that he'd eat the peanuts out of a woman's shit. You know what? I'm going to put that in.
Fuck. She's so hot. I'd eat the peanuts out of her shit.
I think there's something to learn from this movie despite all its absurdity. And simply just don't be a coward. This whole movie, we have all these depraved, psychopathic, sociopathic lunatics running the city or the town, whatnot, and they just get away with it. And you have to wonder how it got to this point. And honestly, I think it's because the people failed to act. They failed to stand up to these lunatics. The hobo sets an example, however extreme that may be, but the example is simply just don't sit idly by and let these things just happen just because, oh, you know, it doesn't really affect me now, you know, so you'll just sit there and be complacent with whatever's happening. But eventually these things creep up on you and they do affect you and the people you love and care about. And I think that's really the point that the hobo was trying to make. And he wanted to be this defender of innocence, as he put it in the movie, because that's all we got left in this world. You get a few years of bliss, everything is fine, you have good parents, good upbringing and everything, but then reality sets in. And that reality would set in immediately for these kids and would just tarnish their futures. And this whole town is just demented. Everybody's just disgusting and despicable. And just imagine if you had to raise your kid in an environment like this. You got pimps on every street corner. You got the Drake beheading people on the street whenever he wants. His two demented sons going around doing whatever. It would be insane, and eventually they'd give in and just become evil just like them. I know the movie isn't meant to be taken so serious, but I know as directors and writers, they really like putting their own personal message into the film. And however absurd this movie is, there is a message in here. There's a message that we can all take from this movie, and it's simply that cowardice invites evil.
Long time ago. You're all brand new and perfect. No mistakes, no regrets. People look at you and think of how wonderful your future will be. They want you to be something special, like a doctor or a lawyer. I hate to tell you this, but if you grow up here, you're more likely to wind up selling your bodies on the streets, or shooting dope from dirty needles in a bus stop. And if you're successful, you'll make money selling junk to crackheads. And you won't think twice about killing someone's wife, because you won't even know what's wrong first place.